Beautiful evening to you. You're welcome to Sport Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Kingsley Manuel. Very happy to be here this evening, of course, to bring you up to speed with the latest revolving around the beautiful world of sports. On today's edition of the show, we shall take a look at some results we saw in the top 5 leagues in Europe over the weekend, as well as some other stories revolving around the beautiful world of sport this evening. So we'll urge you to sit tight as we have a lot for you this evening. We'll take a break. I will come back for the break. Of course, we'll continue to unravel all that you need to know revolving around the beautiful world of sports. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Yes, the Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Of course, I told you I will bring you the latest revolving around the beautiful world of sport this evening. And joining me to do justice on the show this evening is Emmanuel Michael. Good evening to you and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good evening to you, Kingsley, and good evening to our viewers out there.
All right, let's quickly move on as we take a look at wrestling this evening. No longer news that Bayelsa State, of course, they emerged winners of they are the overall champions of the 10th Governor Dewdrey National Wrestling Classic held over a weekend at the indoor hall of Samson Siasia Sport Complex in Unigua. Bayelsa State dominated the competition, clinching victories in the Greco-Roman women's freestyle and men's freestyle categories. Notable wrestlers from Bayelsa State like Solomon Olabo and Ebie Kwati won gold medals to put the states ahead of others on the medals table. Lapo defeated former national champion Matthias Okuma from Edo State 8-0 to technical separating in a thrilling 82 kg Greco-Roman final. He also won gold medal in the men's freestyle 79 kg after beating Noah Ebiton Simplify. In the women's freestyle categories, Ebia Patti for host Bayelsa won the gold at a 68 kg, while Dami Ojo of Ondo State took home his own prize in the 76 kg category. And speaking during the grand finale of the Wrestling Classic, Bayelsa State Governor Senator Dede reaffirmed his unwavering commitment to supporting sports in the state, especially wrestling. Michael, was really an impressive feat, of course, for wrestlers this time in the Governor Dede Wrestling Classic, especially the wrestlers from Bayelsa State.
Yes, of course, a very impressive one for Bayelsa State out there in terms of wrestling. I think they've been doing a lot in that area, and that is why it is no surprise for me that they were able to come top in that very one. Thanks to the governor, who is a sport-loving governor. Talk about the deputy as well, even the sport commissioner of the state. These are all sport enthusiasts, people who truly understand what it means to invest so much on sport, and particular wrestling for that matter. I think for me, it is a great job that the Commissioner of Sport is doing, even the governor bringing out such amount of money to put up this together, and also to continue with this, because this is not the first edition of it, neither is it the second. I mean, we've seen consistency in terms of sport development right there in that state, and I think other states as well, they are taking a cue from what this state is doing. And going forward, I believe that if we invest and pay much attention to other areas of sport, just like what they are doing in that state as well, I tell you, there's going to be a total improvement of sport right here in the country, and that is going to go a whole long way helping the country whenever we are going for any major competition, any major championship, or call it maybe the Commonwealth game, the Olympic game. You saw how disastrous that Team Nigeria performed. They just concluded Olympic game out there. So I think for me, it is a good one, and we hope that they are going to continue in this line of thoughts.
Impressive feat, of course, for the wrestlers down there in Bayelsa, and look forward to see these wrestlers, of course, putting more feats going forward in their career. Kudos to Daniel Gali, the Wrestling Federation president, as well the governor, the jury, of course, who actually invested a lot in making sure this happened. But we have to start from wrestling this evening as we take a look at tennis. Kokogov showed supreme determination to come back from a set and a breakdown against Zheng Qingyuan to win the season-ending WTA finals. In an thrilling encounter that lasted just over 3 hours, the American beat the Olympic champion 3-6, 6-4, 7-6 in Saudi Arabia. At 20 years old, she is the youngest player to win the tournament since Maria Sharapova exactly 2 decades ago, and the youngest American since Serena Williams in 2001. A huge feat, of course, for Kokogov. Michael, what do you make of this feat for the young tennis player?
An impressive one for Cory Kokogov out there, finishing the season very strong, and I think for me she has been very, very exceptional so far this season for herself. She's been able to achieve a lot, and also maintaining that good form rather so far this season. Coming up against the Olympic gold medalist in the Chinese, talking about Zheng Qingyuan. It was a very keenly contested encounter that so many persons expected out, and of course it truly lived up to the expectation, because the Chinese actually took the lead in the first set of the game, but he has to take extra motivation from Cory Kokogov to bounce back and reclaim a victory in that very one. It's a very big congratulations to Cory Kokogov. But immediately the likes of Iga Swiatek, Aryna Sabalenka were knocked out of the competition. I just knew that it was going to be Cory Kokogov that is highly favored in that very one. And she did actually disappoint me, as she was able to come out top in that very one. It clearly tells you that when you put up hard work, it's certainly going to pay for you. Cory Kokogov has been able to put up extra work. I watched some of her training regimens, even before and after games. She was very consistent in terms of trying to improve other different areas of her game, and I think it actually paid off. A big congratulations to her, and I hope to see her continue in this line. And courtesy of this victory, I see her even getting close to a more better ranking when the ranking is released, either today or tomorrow or thereabout. But I believe that with this 1,000 points that she has been able to amass, crew, adding to what she has, that can also project her in a better position and talk about the world ranking.
Impressive feat, of course, you will see for Kokogov, and in progressing to The weekend showpiece in Riyadh Golf. Golf had became this youngest player to reach the championship match at the WTA final since Caroline Wozniacki in 2010. Impressive one, of course, you will see for the young lady at this point, Cory Kokov. We hope that she'll maintain this momentum going for a lot of competition. You will see down there in the WTA, Michael.
A lot of competition in the WTA. It is not new. We've seen this over the past couple of years. In the 2-3 years down the line, we've seen this competition in the WTA, and of course, this is what you expect when you're having top names, vying for honors out there, vying for supremacy, trying to beat each other in the top ranking. The likes of Aina Zabalenka, Cory Kokogov, we just mentioned, Iga Swiatek, Barbara Klitschkova, Ons Jabeur. These are big names, that you want to talk about in the tennis world, especially when it has to do with the WTA, and that is why you are seeing a lot of competitiveness. I think it was Iga Swiatek that actually sat on the world #1 ranking for a very, very long time, maybe 8 months, 9 months thereabout. But eventually, she was ousted out of the world #1. It clearly takes the average that we have in the WTA compared to what we saw. We are seeing the ATP, where it looked as though it was a one-man show, not until Jannik Sinner came in between to actually stop the run of Novak Djokovic. And at some time, maybe Iga Swiatek, Carlos Alcaraz will come in to, prove maybe more stiffer position. But at the end of it, it still remained Novak Djokovic that dictated the pace, not until Jannik Sinner came in the midst. But in the WTA, a lot of competition out there. For me, I think it's a very good one because it's a healthy rivalry where we are not seeing one player dominating the WTA for a very, very long time. That keeps tennis fans on their toes, not expecting the usual thing where we say, okay, one name, one man just run their affairs. So for me, I think it's a very healthy one. And I believe that Cory Kokogov has what it takes to also continue to maintain this form, so that we'll continue to see, this kind of healthy rivalry, within the WTA.
All right, apart from the WTA, the ATP final is upon us as world #1 Jannik Sinner brushed past Alester Minot after Telefris defeated an Irish Daniil Medvedev on the opening day of the ATP final. Sinner playing on home soil in Turin, Italy won 6-3, 6-4 to extend his perfect record against the Australian 7th seed. Earlier, American Freeze recorded his 50th win of the year by beating Medvedev 6-4, 6-3 as the group stage of the season-ending tournament got underway. Freeze and Medvedev are joined in the Le Tassels group by Italy world #1 Jannik Sinner and Alester Minot of Australia, who will play in the second round-robin match of the day. Impressive start, of course, for Jannik Sinner, the world #1. Looking forward to, finish the year in an impressive fashion.
Yeah, impressive one you want to say for, the man talking about Jannik Sinner, a very great player. I think he's been able to dust off all the whole challenges, the speculation of the doping issue and all of that. It comes with a whole lot of mental, instability. But then he's still able to stay strong and also continue to, run the affairs out there. That has not deterred him from giving out his best on the courts out there. I think for me, the man is very, very strong mentally, and that is why he's showing this form of dominance. And when Novak Djokovic pulled out of the competition, it was very certain that he was or is the favorite to win this very one. Disappointing Carlos Alcaraz, that we thought maybe is going to also give him a run for his money, fell by the wayside. The likes of Daniil Medvedev, Taylor Fritz, these are players that are not very consistent, that you cannot say, yeah, they just come, maybe play 1 or 2 games, a flash in the pan, and there they go. They don't replicate the form out there. I was hoping maybe a player in the person of Carlos Alcaraz was going to at least stop Jannik Sinner from winning this very one, but quite disappointing that he wasn't able. And I think for me, Jannik Sinner truly maintained that #1 ranking. He has truly shown that him staying at the #1 ranking for a few months right now, it's not by fluke. He has actually worked, his way to the top, and I believe if he continue to work this very hard, I see him staying there for a very, very long time.
All right, let's see how this one, of course, will go. We still got to report that talking about word number 3, Carlos Alcaraz, lost to Casper Ruud as well. Not a very, of course, good way. Not a good way for Carlos Alcaraz, to start up the ATP finals as it stands. And we'll just see how that one go. But a poor start, you say, for the man Carlos Alcaraz. A lot of expectation from him, but he fell short in that game against Casper Ruud. We'll continue to bring you some of the results coming in from the ATP finals as they unfold right here. But let's move on as we bring you the latest from the Nigerian Premier Football League. Match the 11 of the 2024 and 2025 MPFL season drew up some surprises as we saw 4 home wins this March the 11th, and 4 away victories as well were recorded. 2 goalless draw in that one as well. A total of 15 goals were scored in March the 11th. Michael, what do you make of the stats in the March the 11th matches in the MPFL?
I think for me, nothing much about the stats. I did not make anything out of it other than we had 4 away wins, 4 home wins, which for me I think is very impressive. This is what has been lacking in the league that I keep running about, that week in, week out, we find it difficult to record, plenty of away wins. Highest you get is draw away. And is that how we are going to improve the course of the league? I think for me, pretty much happy that we were able to see a change in narrative for this week in the Nigerian Premier Football League, because it's been very long that we saw 4 away wins in the league for this season. And for me, I think I'm very, very impressed. Talking about the goal ratio, nothing to write home about, just the typical Nigerian Premier League, where you find it very difficult to score plethorias of goal out there, very cagey games, 2-1, 2-0, and all of that. So for me, I think the only positive is that we're able to, see 4 away wins, which is very encouraging.
All right, let's see how that's one. Of course, we'll go down. We hope we'll continue to see some interesting, especially away wins in the Nigerian Premier Football League. But aside from the stats, we saw some impressive results in some of the matches. Lobby Stars beat Avia Warriors 3-1. Was of course an impressive one for Lobby Stars, and Bender Insurance lost to Kano Pillars 1-0. And courtesy of that result, we hear that Bender Insurance have been charged for breaching the MPFL framework and rules during the course of their March 11 game against Kano Pillars over the weekend. Bender Insurance failed to provide adequate and effective security, leading to unauthorized persons gaining access to restricted areas to attack the match officials. The club also failed to ensure proper conduct of their supporters, which resulted in the attack and intimidation of the match officials. 3 points and 3 goals has now been deducted from Bender Insurance points, and 3 goals for the asset or the match official. The club has been fined 1 million naira each for failing to provide adequate and effective security, as well as failing to ensure proper conduct of their supporters, totaling 2 million naira. The club will pay another 1 million fine for misconduct capable of bringing the game to disrepute. Bender Insurance will further pay a fine of 250,000 naira each to the assaulted match officials. Talking about Adenayi Odawale, Onaluakbo Balogo, and Sodiq Sun No Barry. Bender Insurance will also play their next 3 home matches behind closed doors at the Samuel Agbomudia Stadium in Benin City without supporters, and they've been given 48 hours from the date of notice to appeal these sanctions. Michael, what do you make of it? The results favored Kano Pillars, but Bender Insurance and their fans, came all out against the players and the officials of Kano Pillars.
Well, for me, I think it is a quick response from the league body out there, trying to take, a drastic measure towards stemming down on the excesses of some team, fans out there where they think that he must win at home at all costs at every point in time, which for me lacks the spirit of a true sportsmanship. The spirit of a sportsmanship, especially has to do with football, is either you win, you lose, or you draw. And whichever result that comes your way, take it with all fairness. Go back and work on yourself. So for me, I think the quick response coming from the league body is very, very timely and very okay for me. 3 points and 3 goals deducted from the team out there. I think this will go a whole long way to caution other teams as well. Then again, they have been barred from playing from their home ground. I mean, not playing from their home ground, from playing on a closed door, meaning that they are not going to have their home fans the stadium out there. They'll be playing behind a closed door, which for me it is another good punishment. But the financial punishment that was meted to them, to 1 million, 2 million, maybe I call it approximately 3 million naira in all. I think for me, it doesn't tick the box for me. Why am I saying that it doesn't tick the box? Because these teams are state-owned teams, and of course, the state sponsors the team, meaning that they dole out a lot of money to these teams. So you want to say 3 million naira, would that be a big money, a big deal for a state government to offset? I think it's a very little one. But then at this point in time, the league body, they cannot adjust the rules, they cannot adjust their rule book in order to accommodate more stiffer financial punishment. So I'm thinking maybe there is need for them to repeal the rule book as it is right now. Maybe if not for this season, next season, these are plans they should start thinking about, so that they adjust some of this financial punishment, make it heavier and weightier, so that if you are being levied a sum of 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, then I think that will also caution some teams out there to be able to manage their home team and home fans well, so that they don't actually infringe the rules of the game, thereby bringing the league body or the league into disrepute for me. I think that is the only adjustment I'm thinking they should do. But then I want to also commend the Benga Elegbele board for the quick response for this very one. And of course, the club has 48 hours to appeal, but I don't see them appealing because the evidence are very, very clear. The match commissioners have sent their report and all of that, so there are factual evidence that was used to nail them down, but then they still have the liberty to go and appeal that case in order to serve as a deterrent to other teams that may be thinking of towing the same line.
All right, away from that, Katsina United, they lost to Ikorodu City. Ikorodu getting all 3 points away from home. Of course, he will say they are back, of course, maybe to their best to say. Nasarawa United lost to Kwara United as well, 1-0. Kwara United getting all 3 points as well away from home. Heartland FC beat Sunshine Stars 1-0. Emmanuel Amunike, will you say he has, of course, stabilized the Heartland FC side? They've been a bit consistent in their last 3 or 4 games.
Well, for me, I do not think that he has stabilized anything at all. That you get 1 or 2 positive results within 1 or 2 games out there, it's not a true test that indeed you can come out to say that he has been able to stabilize the team. But then I think the ship is gradually sailing to a positive place, maybe to anchor in a very smooth angle. But then he still needs to do more. He still need to start churning out this kind of positive result. Maybe consistency is going to be the only thing that will make me or convince me that he has been able to stabilize or steady the ship of the team right now, talking about Heartland. But I think it is good for him, because when you get 3 points in 1 week, then the next week you follow it up with another positive result, I think that helps the players as well. It also encourages the coach even to do extra, and also the players will be eager to also start getting positive results.
And of course, Sunshine Stars coach Kennedy Boboye, after that encounter, have to resign due to club management interference in his affairs in the team. Michael, Kennedy Boboye putting up another resignation later after leaving Heartland Football Club, this time in Sunshine Stars.
I said in our sister station now that if you truly know your words, if you truly know your value, if you truly know what you are doing, I mean, when someone try to, undermine that which you know that you are doing perfectly, I mean, you tell the person that, no, come on, I know what I'm doing, and you can't be tossing me around. You can't, just push me around. I am the coach. I'm the technical advisor. If I wasn't the one that you appointed myself as the coach of the side, you saw the qualities in me, and that is why you brought me, to steady the ship out there. Why not give me free hand? Why not give me that liberty for me to do what I want to do and get a positive result? Sometimes there are certain good ideas that this coach will have in mind, but for the fact that he has some impediment, being that the body is not giving him that free hand, a lot of interference, he will not be able to implement that lofty ideas that he has, and that is going to wither the result on the pitch of play, because you are not giving the man the liberty to actually carry out or discharge his duty. So for me, I think it's a nice thing for Kennedy Boboye to do, because like I said, if you know your words, you cannot allow anybody to mess around with it, and that is why he has said, no, I think I'm not doing again. I'm training the tower instead of, these people to come and tarnish my reputation for what I've built over the years. Of course, Kennedy Boboye, is one of the best coaches we have in the Nigeria Premier Football League with a whole lot of experience. Won the league with different clubs out there, not once but twice, and doing pretty well for other clubs that he has handled out there. I mean, for such a man that have brought so much value to himself and to the league, I think they need to treat him with care. They need to treat him with, all amount of respect and dignity. But when once that is not happening, I think the man is not right. I mean, it's not wrong, rather, to, throw in the towel and maybe wait for people who will truly value what he has. So for me, I think it is the right decision that he has taken.
All right, so in the coming days, we'll know if it's the right decision for Kennedy Boboye to leave Sunshine Stars at the moment. But Shooting Stars, they beat the Economy Warriors 3-0, and the unbeaten run of Economy Warriors, of course, came to an end after that encounter. Plateau United played goalless against Enugu Rangers, and courtesy of that particular result, we hear that Plateau United have also been charged. Plateau United, they've been charged for breaching the MPFL framework and rules in the course of their March 11 fixture against Rangers International. Plateau United failed to provide adequate and effective security, resulting in the attacks on the match officials and the visiting team, Rangers International. Supporters of Plateau United also threw objects towards the field of play, leading to the injury of one of the match officials. The Plateau United club also failed to ensure the proper conduct of their supporters and the match against Rangers. Now, after the match, supporters of Plateau United attacked one of the match officials, and 3 goals deducted from their accrued points and goals for assaulting a match official. Now, Plateau United will pay a fine of 1 million naira each for failing to provide adequate and a further fine of 500,000 naira, being compensation of 250,000 naira each for the assaulted match officials as a stand. And we hear that Plateau United will underwrite the cost of repairing the damaged team bus of Rangers and other verifiable loss or damage incurred during the incident. And Plateau United will play their next 3 home matches behind closed doors at the New Jersey Stadium ground without any supporters. And they have 48 hours from the date of notice to appeal the sanction. This is another slam from the league body, Michael, to another NPFL team. This time, Plateau United saw that of Bender Insurance, and as well, this is coming now for AFL.
Well, I think I can go back and start rewinding what I said earlier. I think it looks more like monotonous, become monotony. But like I said, I think the league body, they've taken the necessary steps, and there are little adjustments they need to do in terms of the financial, in terms of the monetary sanction that they need to increase that. Away from that, I think the attempt to curb or stop these shenanigans will go a whole long way to improve the course of the league. Don't forget, the Benga Elegbeleye board, you've been doing a massive job since last season. I think we've seen a little there, but it looks as though there are some part of the rules that, like I said earlier, we need to repeal and make it more formidable, so that it also deter some other teams, or maybe away teams or home fans out there for not continue with this kind of disastrous or shameful act that we'll begin to see in the league. I mean, this is some of the traditional things that we usually see in the league sometime or some years ago that makes the league very, very bad. It paints us on a very bad spot. But since last 2 seasons down till now, I think we've been able to see a little bit of changes, and I want to also implore the league body to continue with this massive improvement so that it's going to be for the benefit of the league at large.
Away from that, very good one for him in the last 3 games. Out of possible 9 points, he just managed to pick just 1 out of those 3 encounters. And the recent one is the game everyone was thinking they were going to go unbeaten, but all of a sudden we saw them drop points, and not even down to this stage where they have to drop points, at home. What do you make of Rivers United and Finidi George going forward in the MPFL with this result?
I think for me, it's quite disappointing. But when you say that everyone thought they were going to continue the unbeaten road, when we keep talking about Rivers United playing unbeaten and all of that, I said that it is not yet an uhuru for Rivers United to start jubilating that they have arrived. Many games to play, many games still coming by. Just 11 games gone down out of possible 38 games, to play. So we still have about a handful of games to go out there. I think it's beginning to feel the true test of what the league is all about right now, because we've been on a very impressive run right now. I think this is a time for Finidi George to actually, sit back properly and begin to buckle up his seatbelt, because it looks as though the jungle is gradually maturing. And for Bayelsa United, am I surprised by this result? Maybe or maybe not. You know why? I think the management of Bayelsa United actually gave their coach, talking about Lalambosu, 2 games ultimatum. That if he doesn't win these 2 games, then he should just forget about the job. And you know what it is? This time around, losing your job is very difficult to get a job, somewhere. Looking at what we are facing right here in the country, I think that has spurred him up to come all out to hunt Rivers United. It was a battle of supremacy on who is more united than the other. Is it Rivers United or Bayelsa United? Or you look as though Bayelsa United were more united to disunite Rivers United. And I think for me, it was a big result for them. 3 points on the kitty in a ground that seems to be a slaughter ground for away teams, but then they came here, they saw, and they conquered. They went away with all 3 points. So it is an indication, or indicator rather, that Finidi George should buckle up.
Finidi George, of course, should buckle up, and we'll see how it goes for them. Akwa United continue to struggle as they lost away from home to Niger Tornadoes 1-0 in that encounter. Away from that, the Queens made a resounding statement in their CAF Women's Champions League debut, trashing Commercial Bank of Ethiopia FC 3-0 the Lambi Zule Stadium in Casablanca yesterday, cementing the Do Queens top spots in Group B. The Nigerian team, champions of Group B, dominated the match from the onset, pressuring their opponents and forcing errors. Earlier in the day, FC Massa edged reigning champions Melody Sundown Ladies 1-0, placing them second in the group behind Edo Queens. The Egyptian team will face Edo Queens on Wednesday, and we'll see how that one, of course, will pan out. Good start, of course, he will say, for Edo Queens, and we hope they continue with this impressive performance going forward. We understand $600,000, of course, awaits them if they eventually get to the final and win this one. We'll take a break now, and we'll come back from this break. We'll take a trip to England as we bring you some results we saw in the Premier League. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network, and of course we bring the latest revolving round the beautiful world of sports, and of course then time for we to talk football. And we'll start with club football. I will start with the Premier League in England as Manchester United beat Leicester City 3-0. Nottingham Forest lost to Newcastle by 3-1. Tottenham Hotspur they lost to Ipswich Town by 2-1. Chelsea played 1 draw against Arsenal, and we saw Brentford beat Bournemouth by 3-2, and as well Crystal Palace lost to Fulham by 2-0. West Ham United played goalless against Everton. Wolverhampton Wanderers, of course, we saw them beat Southampton 2-0, and Brighton and Hove Albion beat Manchester City 2-1. Liverpool beat Aston Villa by 2-0 in that encounter. Michael, what do you make of it? First, let's start with Manchester City. Been an abysmal one in their last 4 games. First time the manager Pep Guardiola, of course, is losing 3 games in a row, as well as the team. It's been a long time. I think that's since 2006. We saw Manchester City losing, 4 games in a row. I don't know what you make of it. What do you think would be the reason for this poor performance for City in their last 4 games?
I think for me, Manchester City and Pep Guardiola, they've actually maintained this consistency for a very long time right now. How many years down the line since he got that job? I think, to be realistic, I think the man has done a good job. If at this point in time they begin to get some poor result, I think we need to also give him kudos for what he's done over the years, maintaining that consistency. Him losing 4 straight games so far in a row as it is right now. So many people have begun to brandish him with a lot of things, saying a whole lot of trash out there, which for me I think is very, very unfair for such a man that have been very competitive, that have made the English Premier League more like a farmers' league out there. And as for me, I think they still have what it takes to even vie for the title so far this season. Well, they lost against Brighton, not a good one in terms of the title hunt this time around. A 5-point adrift of the league leader Liverpool. We want to say not a good one, but then I think they still have a realistic chance of also defending the trophy they won last time. Just maybe like some persons are saying, the absence of Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne, the likes of Grealish have also affected the Manchester City performance. But like I would always say, football is a team game. the fact that one or two key players are injured, is that the real reason why they cannot get positive result? Of course, we know the factor or the influence that maybe one or two key players, has, in a game when they get injured. But then, that is the reason why you have about 23 players or 25 thereabout each season for you to select from. So if you are losing one or two players out of possible 23 or 25 squad per season, is that enough reason for you to say, oh, because two players got injured and that is the reason why you cannot get positive results? So for me, I do not think so. I just think that football, being what it is, you cannot always expect victory at all point, at all time, and that is what is happening to Pep Guardiola. Every team or every coaches have their own bad time, in some time in the league or sometime in any competition out there. This is the bad time for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, but believe me, they will come out of it very strong.
All right, let's see how it goes. Of course, for Manchester City, really been a struggling moment for them. Yesterday, we saw the game between Chelsea and Arsenal, and that game ended in a 1-1 draw. Arsenal, they are 9 points behind league leaders Liverpool as it stands. They stay in the title race, Michael.
Absolutely, yes. Arsenal is still very much in the title race. 9 points adrift of the league leaders with plenty of games still to come by. I think Liverpool, it is not yet an uhuru for them, like I will keep saying. That you are 9 points adrift of Arsenal, doesn't mean that you've also won the league. There's still many games to play, and trust me, Liverpool under Ancelotti will also have their own bad time at some point in time, as the season continues to come along. Don't forget, last season, teams like Tottenham, when Ange Postecoglou came in to revive Tottenham, we saw them playing about 9 to 10 games, unbeaten. There was this talk that, yeah, they are the new kid on the block this time around, but in their next game, they had to be beaten, black and blue by Chelsea that were not in form at that stage in time last season. Immediately, Chelsea disvirgin them. That is how the poor result came in, and they were not able to finish very strong. So it happens to any team out there. Arsenal, they are still very much in the title hunt, but I actually expected them, yesterday to get all 3 points against the Chelsea side that have not found the magic or, the mojo to start winning big teams. I expected Arsenal to get all 3 points. Taking a look at the ball possession, the attempts and all of that, the chances that they had, especially at the 10 minutes of the game. But Martinelli and the rest of the players, they squandered some glorious opportunities out there. But then, I think they still are very much in the mix for the title chase, but it's going to be a very, very difficult one for them this time around.
Manchester United under Van Nistelrooy, of course, were able to get all 3 points in that encounter against Leicester City, and that was the last game for Van Nistelrooy. And taking a look at the fact that the man played 4 games after Erik ten Hag left and was able at least to win 3 out of the 4 and drew 1, to say what's a good result. Will you actually attribute United's problem to the presence of Erik ten Hag as a den?
I will not attribute Manchester United problem to Erik ten Hag. That Van Nistelrooy came in as an interim coach to win 3 games, drawing 1. It does not necessarily mean that Manchester United have been revived, as it were, in quotes right now. Because if you take a look at their pattern of play, has anything actually changed? Do we see very confident play from Manchester United? Do we see a new tactics from Ruud van Nistelrooy? No. We still see some pocket of disjointed kind of football without lacking any pattern at all. So, but they were able to get the result, which is what maybe you want to say, yeah, that is what United fans were worried about Erik ten Hag. But majorly, I tell you, most of Manchester United fans are angry against Erik ten Hag, not because he's not churning out results, but then most especially not having a definite or a clear pattern of play, no good philosophy. We have not seen anything change under Ruud van Nistelrooy. The only thing that changed was the fact that he was able to win 3 games. And of course, you as an interim manager, when an opportunity presents itself as an interim manager, you want to also impress, the authority, and that is what I think Ruud van Nistelrooy did. Giving him the job on a full scale, let him be a Manchester United boss, I tell you, he will goof. So these are just the issue. I do not think that Erik ten Hag was a problem of Manchester United.
Let's bring you some results from the Spanish La Liga as Real Betis played 2-2 draw against Celta Vigo. Real Mallorca lost to Atletico Madrid by 1-0. In that encounter we saw. And Getafe lost to Girona by 1-0. Real Valladolid played 1-1 draw against Athletic Bilbao. Real Sociedad beat Barcelona 1-0. Real Madrid beat Osasuna 4-0. Villarreal beat Alaves by 3-0. Leganés beat Sevilla 1-0. Rayo Vallecano lost to Las Palmas by 3-1. With that, we'll call it a wrap at this point on the show. We'll be back tomorrow by 7 a.m. Sports Talk to bring you the latest revolving around the beautiful world of sport. But we can't go without telling you that Go Golf, of course, is a sport extraordinaire on the show. Of course, one of the youngest player to win the WTA finals, a very impressive one. She actually beat Queen Zheng from China to get that particular feat. So thanks to Mike for doing justice on the show this evening. My name is Kingsley Manuel. Thanks for watching.